Week 5 of the 2025 NFL season is here, and we've got a lot to go over from last week. I have to change the whole format of my left side of the screen here because the Packers-Cowboys game ended into the first tie of the year, so now I gotta shrink the font out of fucking 1 to it. So I ended up going 8, 7, and 1 in my predictions last week. Technically better than last week, where I completely ate shit, went 8 and 8, and did bad on my bets. When it came to my actual bets, though, we're on the come up. I lost a lot of the single ones, sadly, but that money bags Manta parlay on that Colts Rams game that was at like plus 600, that hit. I was super happy when that did. I'm very proud. I'm fucking galaxy brain. If you tailed, leave a comment down below if you tailed, because I made you some money if you did, and you're welcome. And that's not going to be the only Moneybags Manta parlay of the year, so, stay tuned for that. So overall, I ended up going plus 1.15 units, so we're back up to just being down 3.76 units on the season so far. We're climbing. I did kind of get my ass saved by the Moneybags Manta parlay, but that's kind of why I did it anyway. So now we're sitting at 39 wins, 24 losses, 1 tie. Ugh. Gross. But now we move on to week 5. Pretty exciting, crazy week of football last week. I'll go over it a little bit as I do my week 5 predictions. Starting off with the Thursday night game, the 49ers versus the Rams. Now, the big thing about this game is that half of the 49ers team is in the goddamn ICU. Purdy's still out with injury. Ricky Pearsall's out. Juwan Jennings out. Obviously, Nick Bosa is out for the year. Is there like someone else I'm forgetting? Oh, George Kittle. He's still on an IR. So, who do they got? They got Mac Jones. They got Christian McCaffrey, who's still like obviously the best player on that team by a country mile. And then they're trotting out Jake Tongus, Kendrick Bourne. I think that's it. Fucking crazy. Absolutely wild. Meanwhile, the Rams, they've been killing it. They beat the Colts, but we'll talk about that Colts game when we get to the Colts. But Rams played well, showed that unfortunate Eagles game was just a sad choke job that they just couldn't finally pull the trigger on to finish the game. But they are still one of the overall best teams in the league. Puka Nacua is like the best receiver in the league right now. It is crazy. The man gets the volume that he gets and the yards that he's able to make with that volume is absolutely wild. Kyron Williams is still a monster of a running back. Devontae Adams is a great supporting actor to Puka. The defense is still locked down as ever, when they want to be. There is no way that this 49ers team is beating this Rams team tonight. Obviously, I got the Rams to win. I guess I'll take the Rams to cover 2. Much like with the Colts-Rams game, the money line and the spread is a little too wide for me to comfortably bet on, but that's why the Rams did it for me last week. They're doing it for me this week. We're doing another money bags Manta parlay. I should really have like a sound effect for that. So get ready for this side of the screen. I'll see if I can squeeze all this one on. Last time we had a 6-leg parlay. This week, I think we can bump it up to a 7. I got this at a plus 700 value yesterday. Unfortunately, last time I re-put it into betting slips, it dropped down to plus 550, so you won't be getting as much value out of it. But here we go. Let me tell you to you right now. So we got, on the Rams side, we got Matthew Stafford at 225 passing yards. Stafford with 2 passing touchdowns. Puka Nacua with 65 receiving yards. Devontae Adams with 40 receiving yards. Kyron Williams, I'm so excited. Kyron Williams with 50 rushing yards. And then over on the 49ers side, CMC is going to pull double duty here. He's going to get 40 receiving yards and 40 rushing yards. So that should add up to About probably plus 500 at worst now. I haven't checked it in a few hours, but I think it's gonna be hovering around that line. Uh, I got it at plus 700, putting a unit on it. Hopefully if this wins and I don't fuck up the rest of my other bets this week, this will take us back into the green like how we started the year off. So if you want a tail, obviously do so responsibly. If you don't think it's going to hit, don't hit it. But the Rams have been one of my favorite teams to bet on. Last year, every time I bet on the Rams, usually they came through for me. This time, I think they're gonna do it again. So that's what I got for the Thursday game. Next up, we have another game that on Sunday morning in London that I'm going to be asleep for. The Vikings versus the Browns. Now, Vikings have a huge advantage going into this game as they are already in Europe and will have a week of time to have been adjusted to the time change. Meanwhile, the Browns are in an interesting situation here. They're coming off a horrible loss to my Lions. We blew them the fuck out. And we beat them so bad that the Honolulu flu is flowing through Cleveland. Joe Flacco's career might be over, and now it's Dillon Gabriel's time. And it probably won't be Shedeur Sanders' time for a while, because if you saw that fucking weird-ass, immature interview that he did where he was being asked a bunch of questions about how he feels about Gabriel getting the starting job, and if he feels that either, he should be the starter, or he should, if he feels better about Gabriel leading the Browns, where Joe Flacco couldn't. He was just mouthing words, just being pantomiming his answers and not actually vocalizing them. Yeah, this guy's a cornball. He's a loser. Fuck Shedeur Sanders. He's a big idiot, big dum-dum. Meanwhile, Dillon Gabriel, as a fellow UCF alumni, I have a lot of respect for him. I hope he does well. I don't think he's going to be put in the best situation here. This is a pretty bad game to debut in. Granted, I said a similar thing about Jackson Dart with the Giants against the Chargers, and he, despite, we'll talk about it later, but despite a overall kind of a lackluster performance, he still managed to beat the Chargers miraculously when he had a better game to debut in the week later. I don't think Dillon Gabriel is going to be afforded the same luxury here, because not only is he his debut game, is he the first NFL quarterback in history to make his official starting debut overseas? I think so, because I can't think of anyone else. Granted, he is coming into the one saving grace that he has is that he's not playing an actual starting quarterback. He's still going up against Carson Wentz for the Vikings because JJ's still out with injury. That being said, the Vikings defense is not to be fucked with, as we saw in Week 3. Now that they're also adjusted to the time change, I don't see the Browns pulling this one off. Give me the Vikings to win here. Vikings to probably cover the spread. I don't feel confident enough to bet on this game. Because the Browns do have that sneaky good defense that could trip up a guy like Carson Wentz. I'm gonna say Vikings are gonna win. Vikings probably cover. I'm not gonna be betting this one because I'm not even gonna be awake to watch it because I work overnight. So international games are non-existent to me. Next game, Texans versus Ravens. Now this one is a little bit silly because Ravens, Lamar, as you know, is out for a couple weeks, maybe, at least. He's suffered some kind of hamstring injury in their horrible loss against the Chiefs. They got their bottom smacked. I think they put up a better fight against my Lions than they did against the Chiefs. The Chiefs just had their way with them. And the Texans are coming off their first win of the year, a 26-0 shutout against the shit-ass Titans, so not overly impressive. But if you'll look here, Texans are actually favored to win. They're the road team, but they're favored to win because, Lamar's out and Cooper Rush is in. That's how I found out that Cooper Rush is no longer the backup for Dallas. He's now the backup for Baltimore. This one's kind of trappy. I don't trust it entirely because I don't want to buy into the CJ Stroud is back hype yet. He played a shit ass team. Woody Marks did have a breakout game as the running back for the Texans because Nick Chubb is kind of floundering, sadly. Might be getting to the twilight of his career. I don't think Texans are getting Joe Mixon back just yet, because if they did, then that line should be higher because Joe Mixon's still a threat. And Stroud and Mixon are a good combination together. Yeah. Yeah. Also, Ravens' defense has been like decimated with injuries. They might be becoming like the new Lions this year, but even worse because at least the Lions' injury is kind of really started snowballing with Hutch. Like Hutch was the peak, and I think that was like when did we play the Cowboys? Week 4, week 6 of the NFL, and we lost him for the year. Then it was like after that, then all of our defensive players, like our stars, started spiraling with injuries. It's already happening with the Ravens. Like they were already down to like literally well, not literally who's, but they were down a bunch of key guys in week 3, and now it's week 5. I think what are they out? They're out Roquan Smith. I think they're out Marlon Humphrey. The Ravens defense is just not what it used to be. So with all that being said, this might be a bit of a risk, but I am going to take the Texans here. I'll take the Texans to win. I don't think I'm going to be betting it because, I want to bet it. Actually, I do want to bet it because the money line for the Texans is at like a pretty nice value, all things considered. And if Lamar was playing, I would not bet on this game at all because I might even bet on the Ravens. But Cooper Rush is not a bad backup. He actually did pretty decently with Dallas last year. Shit. Because, like, the Texans only have one win. It was against the shit-ass Titans. They can easily just... I can still think that they can lose to a Ravens team. You know what? For the value, since Lamar is out... It's like the question is, it's Derrick Henry. Can Derrick Henry overcome this Texans defense? You know what? We're already in the red anyway. And I did say that if we make it to -10, then we'll be done. I'm picking Texans to win anyway. Fuck it. We'll do it. I'll take the Texans money line. -130, sure, why not? If I lose, then I'll never bet on the Texans again this year. Next game, the Dolphins versus the Panthers. Don't have to deliberate about this one. I'm staying the fuck away from this game. I have no idea what to expect. Dolphins are coming off their first win of the year against the shit-ass Jets, who are just bottom 3 worst teams in the league. Unfortunately, and this one's a sad one for Miami heads and, football heads for that matter, Tyreek Hill. We might have just seen Tyreek Hill play not only his last game as a Dolphin, probably his last game in the NFL, because he not only dislocated his knee, but he also tore his ACL and I think a couple other ligaments in his knee. Like, this is a career-altering injury. This isn't just like when we get to something like spoiler alert for the Giants, but like a Malik Neighbors injury where he tore his ACL, but with enough physical rehab, he can get back to the production that he had in his rookie year, and he was kind of having this year too. Sans Russell Wilson being a bitch. Yeah, Tyreek might be done. He was smiling through the pain, probably because he realized he didn't have to play with Tua's sorry ass anymore. But at the end of the day, we rest in peace to Tyreek Hill's career. I think it's over. Meanwhile, it's now it's Jalen Waddle's time to shine. We're about to see Jalen Waddle become the wide receiver 1 of the Dolphins for probably the next 5 years. Like I don't know what kind of contract Waddle is on right now, but that contract just got a little more valuable, and depending on his performance throughout the rest of this year, might get a few more well, not zeros, but like a few million more on that contract. Meanwhile, the Panthers, they're coming off a really bad loss to the Patriots. The Patriots just had their way with them. What was it? 42 unanswered points by the Patriots. Andy Dalton came out at one point to sit Bryce Young's bum ass down, and he got a garbage time touchdown. I will take the Dolphins to win here. Dolphins cover. I'm not going to be... Oh, God, I'm so burpy for some reason. Sorry. I will take the Dolphins to win here. I'm not going to be betting it because I still don't, fully trust it. They're going to be out Tyreek now. That's going to be huge for them. And I'm still technically betting on the Dolphins collapse narrative, and losing Tyreek does help with that narrative. So I think the Dolphins will win this game, but it will not be right of my own little personal narrative to bet on the Dolphins this year. So I will not be betting this game. A game I will be betting on, though, is the Colts versus the Raiders. Because the Raiders... It's sad. I'm sad to say this, because I like Geno Smith. I've always liked Geno Smith. But you know what? When he's that old quote that he did in an interview, he's like, they wrote me off, but I ain't right back, and how awesome that was. I think he's writing back. Geno's basically become the new Jameis Winston of the league, where he can still get amazing pass volume and, throw some nice balls and get some touchdowns every now and then, but the dude is like, 6-7 touchdown interception ratio so far? It's really bad. I think he's leading the league in interceptions right now. I thought it was Tua, but motherfucker threw 3 interceptions against the Bears last week, and they lost off a blocked field goal. Had he thrown one less interception, the Raiders would have won that game. I would have won my bet. I have Raiders money line that game. Now they're coming up against a Colts team. I can't. And I'm sad too because Ashton Genty finally had a really good game, like the kind of game that he was drafted for and they expected to be. But no, it was all for naught. Sad. It made me sad to see that happen. Also, I'm mad at Geno because those 3 interceptions probably came at the cost of not getting Jacoby Myers 50 yards. Because if he did, I would have hit a 13-leg parlay. I would have made $200. And I'm mad about that. It was the only leg on it. The only leg on the parlay that didn't hit. And I'm mad about it. So yeah, fuck the Raiders. I'm sorry, Geno. I want to love you, but you've made it too hard for me. I'll probably still bet on Ashton Genty because now he seems like he's finally coming into his own, or at least he's being utilized by the offense properly. Meanwhile, the Colts coming off their first loss of the year, but it was against the Rams, which I predicted. So, and I don't think the Colts value is diminished here because they did keep it close. And you know what? There was probably a universe where they could have beaten the Rams if it weren't for that punk bitch motherfucker Adonis Mitchell. You've probably seen the clip. He catches a touchdown. What would have been a touchdown pass from Daniel Jones, runs it all the way down to the end zone. No one's close enough for him to tackle him. He's gonna walk it right in. He's holding it out like this, like the receivers tend to do. It's like, oh, look at this, I got the ball and no one's gonna stop me. And then, like a dumb son of a bitch, drops the ball before he crosses into the end zone to do an early touchdown celebration. Not realizing that he dropped it a second too early. Falls into the end zone. It's ruled a fumble because it goes in the end zone. It's considered a touchback, and now it's the Rams' ball. The Colts lost by 7, by the way, so the final score at least could have been there should have been an overtime, probably. It definitely would have changed the entire pace of the game. And then also I think Adonis Mitchell got a offensive holding call, which costed Jonathan Taylor a touchdown, which also would have, Adonis Mitchell single-handedly cost the Colts that game, which was good for me because I still had the Rams winning, but the Colts were capable of beating the Rams, but literally only him choked, so I'm sure his ass got passed around the locker room that night and probably stretched out by 3 inches that night. That being said, the Colts are just better than the Raiders right now. There's nothing to say. Give me the Colts to win, Colts to cover. I'm gonna take. I don't like taking even numbers, so I will take the Colts -6.5. I will bet on it. Not much else to say. I think that it's gonna be an easy win for the Colts. Next game, the Giants versus the Saints. Like I mentioned earlier, the Giants are coming off a surprise upset. Might be upset of the year so far when all is said and done, because the Chargers were undefeated up at that point, and they were taking on, well, granted, they only played their division that whole time, but one of those people were the Chiefs, so, you know. Justin Herbert came down to earth a little bit. I guess he didn't get enough Madison Bear pussy before the game. Maybe she put him in horny timeout or something. But Herbert threw like, what did he throw? 2 interceptions. I want to say at most 2. I know he threw at least 1. Kind of looked more like his 2024 self than his 2025 post Madison Bear pussy self. Kind of went back to if man. Chargers defense also sold, not being able to stop Jackson Dart Vader. That's an awesome nickname, by the way. Dart didn't have a great passing game. I think he only threw like 11 times. Like, well, he completed 11 passes. I think he threw like 19, 20 times. But he only got 111 yards. Very, very pitiful. And I think his one touchdown pass was a shovel pass, if I'm not mistaken. I fear because y'all know how I feel about running backs that are playing, quarterbacks that are actually running backs, like a Lamar Jackson or Justin Fields. Dart had 50, like he ran like what, 8, 9 times, maybe 10, and got, I want to say 8 sounds about right. Got 50 yards and a rushing touchdown. I think maybe it's because the script commanded it with the way the Chargers played, but so far he looked like a running back. I'm sorry. I want to like Jackson Dart. He's pretty cool. I like the rapport that he has with the team already. Cam Scatterboo is becoming one of my favorite players in the NFL. The dude is a crayon-munching, knuckle-dragging Neanderthal, which is like literally the best type of player a running back could possibly be. The man does backflips on MetLife turf, which already claimed Malik Neighbors' life, as we talked about earlier, which is sad. That's definitely going to impact the Giants. But they're going up against the Saints. Why are they underdogs? Okay, I guess I can kind of understand because, Saints actually managed to keep the Bills game competitive for like the first half of the game, and then Josh Allen started to do Josh Allen things and then pulled away. They did cover the spread, so I did lose my spread bet on that one. I was sad, but I guess it was my fault for taking such a big spread. I took the bait. Saints are still trash though. Like, they're still winless. They didn't get a single win the month of September. They're still the worst team in the league. Giants, they're getting their first win of the year. But they've shown that they can be competitive when they want to. Even back when they had Russell Wilson, they were able to keep up with the Cowboys. It took them to overtime. Even without Malik Neighbors, it looks like the pass game might not have been that much of a factor with Jackson Dart anyway. I'm sure Wan'Dale Robinson could elevate, similar in a way to Waddle filling in for Hill. I don't think they, Waddle and Wan'Dale respectively are going to fill in for Tyreek and Malik Neighbors as efficiently as they would have just, actually being there. But I think they're fine enough stand-ins. With that being said, between the Giants defense, which can clutch up when necessary, at least they did for the first time last week. Shout out to Sexy Dexy, almost taking an interception all the way down to the house for a pick six. Oh, nearly. I love big fat big fat defensive players running down the field. Between the defense that can clutch up when necessary, Cam Scatterboo being an absolute monster, and Jackson Dart technically is 1-0 in the league. I think he's already better than Spencer Rattler. Give me the Giants here. I'll take the Giants to win. Giants to cover. I'll bet the money line. Sure, I'll take a free unit if I can. Now maybe the Saints can, catch the Giants is the best chance they have to win a game all year so far. And Giants are on the road, so the Saints have home field advantage. But I come on, it's the Saints, man. It's the Saints. Fuck the Saints. Who cares? Who fucking cares? Next game. Cowboys versus the Jets. Oh boy. So the Cowboys, even though they tied that game against the Packers, I consider it a win in the Cowboys book and a loss for the Packers because the Packers should have won that. The Packers should have beaten the Cowboys. The Cowboys have the worst defense in the league this year. They can't stop a fucking nosebleed in a Kleenex factory. And yet that offense, though, even without CeeDee Lamb, surprisingly efficient. Dak I think he's leading the league in passing yards. He's showing that, the Cowboys need him. He is the Cowboy. He is the Cowboys. He's a great quarterback, amazing passing volume. George Pickens is doing, fine enough as with Lamb. I feel like if they had CeeDee on the team, they would have beaten the Packers last week. Javonte Williams is still showing out to be the most probably surprising running back of the year. I guess he really did fucking hate the Broncos. Or unless the Cowboys are just, good at taking mid running backs from other teams and then making them into good running backs like they did with Rico Dowdle last year. Jake Ferguson's nice. Obviously the Cowboys are going to win this game. I have no idea why the money line's so low. I don't give a shit that the Jets are at home here. It's the Jets! They haven't won a game all year! They're one of the worst teams in the league! Justin Fields is a running back! He's not a fucking quarterback. They're wasting Garrett Wilson in his prime. Their defense sucks dick. Breece Hall is also being wasted. Yeah, I'm not gonna waste too much time on this one. Give me the Cowboys to win, the Cowboys to cover. I'm gonna take the spread on the Cowboys, -2.5, which is dangerous because, they still have no defense, and the Jets will score on them probably a couple times, but I think the Cowboys' offense is good enough to overcome a 3-point difference in the spread. So, that's all I gotta say about that game. Next game, the Broncos versus the Eagles. The Eagles can't keep getting away with it, man. How are they undefeated? They should have lost the last 2 games. They came back against the Rams in week 3. That was frustrating to watch, but I guess, you can attribute that to the Eagles being really like that. How did they win last week? Yeah, they were dominating the Buccaneers in the first half, but then the Buccaneers dominated them in the second half. What's his bitch ass name? Jalen Hurts. What did he do? 0 for 8. Literally no passing yards in the second half of that game. Because Jalen Hurts is low key a running back and a tush push merchant as well. He would be flipping burgers, putting fries in the bag if not for the tush push. Fucking Saquon Barkley, he's still nice. The Buccaneers did their best. I think if they had Mike Evans, they probably would have beaten the Eagles. Chris Godwin was eased back into the game, which is probably for the best, considering he was coming off a major injury last year. Mika Igbukka. What the fuck am I talking about the Buccaneers? I'm so heated that I'm trying to justify why the Buccaneers lost when I'm talking about the Eagles. Because the Eagles fans are fucking insufferable. They know they're getting hard carried by a move that should probably be made illegal. The Eagles are going to win this game, sadly to say. The Broncos, even though they put belt to ass against the Bengals, which we'll talk about when we get to that. I'll have some things to say about that. It's the fucking Joe Burrow-less Bengals. Who cares? Eagles, they're at home. Their defense is going to be good enough. It doesn't matter if the Eagles even appear to be losing. They're probably going to win this one anyway. So, sorry Broncos, but Eagles are just going to... They're just going to win. Give me the Eagles to win. Eagles to cover. Not going to be betting it. I fucking hate the Eagles, man. Next game, the Titans versus the Cardinals. Cam Ward called his own team ass, and that's all that really needs to be said. Give me the Cardinals to win, Cardinals to cover. I don't think I'm going to be betting it. They lost Trey Benson to IR after they already lost James Conner for the year, so I don't even... Who's it? Amari DiMarcado is now the running back one temporarily until Benson comes back. Maybe even will outperform Benson given this 4-week spotlight, this month-long spotlight. I will not be betting this game. Who fucking cares? Next game. Buccaneers versus Seahawks. Now this one's a little nicer. Seahawks are coming off a close win over the Cardinals. It could have nearly gone to overtime if not for the Cardinals choking a kickoff where they missed the line. They missed the 35-yard line. I think it bounced like 1 yard short of it, and because of that, the Seahawks were able to get the ball on their own 40-yard line, which then allowed them to drive down the field and kick the game-winning field goal. Some people took some issue with that, says that the kickoff rules are stupid. I think it's fair. How the fuck are you going to be a kicker in the NFL and not kick off a ball to the 35-yard line? Like, come on, man. You don't even have to, you just have to get it in the field. It's not even like a field goal where you have to, kick, 50-yard field goals. Just kick a ball in the wide space of the field. Come on, man. Buccaneers are coming off a tough L to the Eagles, but I think even without Mike Evans still, and this one could be a difference maker. Bucky Irving might miss this game. He's, I think, currently on track to miss this game with injury. Not a bad one, probably just like a 1 week injury at most, maybe two. Not a serious one. I know Baker's been struggling with a arm injury, I think to his throwing arm. It hasn't hampered him too badly, clearly, but he has been carrying questionable tags seemingly every week so far. Meanwhile, the Seahawks, Sam Darnold's been nice, he's been consistent. JSN, I can't believe I blanked on his name. JSN is one of the best receivers in the league right now. The run game is nice between the two-headed monster that is Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. Honestly, give me the Buccaneers. I don't really care that they're going to be out Mike Evans or Bucky Irving. Now, if they are out Bucky Irving, I will say probably tail this one the least. I'm only taking Buccaneers for the value on the money line, because if I win, I'll get a unit and a half back. But again, I think that even despite the injury, they can overcome the Seahawks team, because I think their offense is Baker's just better than Darnold and Igbuka. You can make the argument that while he's not as nice as JSN, he can easily keep up, and with Godwin helping him out, getting him more involved in the offense, that receiving games is going to be dangerous. Give me the Buccaneers to win, Buccaneers to cover. I will take the Buccaneers money line, and hopefully they'll be able to overcome their injuries. Next game. Ooh, I'm licking my fingers, licking my chops, looking at this game. The Lions versus the Bengals. I want you to take a look at that opening spread line there. +1.5. I'm pretty sure that was before the Monday night game between the Broncos and the Bengals. That line has fallen down to 10.5. Jake Browning, maybe it's because he's played good defenses between the Vikings and the Broncos, and he's behind a really bad O-line, and that's the reason why Joe Burrow is injured in the first place. But how long can we give him that excuse for, right? Because even with a shit O-line, Burrow's always had a shit O-line, but he still was able to put up great numbers despite it. And obviously, Jake Browning is nowhere near as good as Joe Burrow, but even back 2 years ago, he was still playing nice. Now, he was nowhere to be seen. Jamar Chase might as well have been doing cardio that whole game last week. Meanwhile, the Lions, we embarrassed the Browns, made the Packers look stupid in the process. Um, we ended, like I said before, we ended Joe Flacco's career, possibly. He'll never eat lunch in this town again. Now we're coming into a team. We are the road team. Big fucking whoop. We're coming in against a team with a notoriously bad defense, and now is behind a really bad O-line and a quarterback that has been shown to be now so far, aside from where he helped win the game against the Jaguars in week 2, basically entirely toothless. We are going to eviscerate the Bengals. Obviously, it goes without saying, give me the Lions to win, Lions to cover. But the question is, how much of a cover? I didn't get burned on this last time. I took Lions, what was it, 9.5, and I won that. I know I got burned on this with the Bills. And I think also with the Dolphins, the same with the Bills team. But you know what? It just shows me that Bills can't cover large spreads, but the Lions can. Give me the Lions minus 20.5. I got this value at plus 240. I don't know if it's the same now, but that's 2.4 units. Give me Lions minus 20.5. I'm betting that shit. We are going to make mincemeat of the Bengals. The football fan in me is sad that Joe Burrow is not playing this game, because this should have been a really fun game where I think defense just goes out the window and we just, both teams will score at least 40 points each, kind of like the Packers Cowboys did last week. But sad that this is the reality of the situation. Bengals is a poverty franchise. Well, not a poverty franchise. They have amazing talent on there. Their management, their front office is poverty. Because how the fuck do you not get, 10 fucking fat guys to protect Joe Burrow? Bengals are stupid. Lions are going to destroy him. There's nothing more to be said. One fucking pride, baby. Next game, the Commanders versus the Chargers. Commanders, I think they're finally getting JD back. I'm not entirely sure on that. I think they are. I think JD's finally getting healthy again. With that being said, Chargers are looking dangerous here. And I think that even if they get JD back, I don't think they're going to be able to overcome this Chargers team. Not really much to say on this one. It's going to be a good game, especially if JD plays. If he doesn't end up playing and Marcus Mariota steps in again, Chargers are going to win, no doubt. If he does, it's going to be a close game. Give me the Chargers to win, Chargers to cover. I will take the 2.5 point spread for the Chargers, because I think they'll be able to win by that much of a margin against the Commanders. They don't have the best defense right now. Yeah, that's all I really got to say about that one. I hope JD comes back and hope he makes it an interesting game, but loses just enough so Chargers can cover the spread for me. Next game, Sunday Night Football, the Patriots versus the Bills. Not really much to say about this one. Patriots coming off a big win, but not an overly impressive win because they just dropped 40 on the bitch-ass Panthers' heads. And the Bills are coming off a literally who cares win. They beat the Saints. Bills are probably going to go 8-0 this year. That's amazing. Do I take the Bills spread here? Do I wanna take the bait? Obviously, Bills are gonna win this game, no doubt. I've been burned too many times on taking the Bills spread. Granted, I took the Bills at ridiculous spreads, but they've failed to cover even both times that I took them at the regular spreads that Vegas is giving. They probably will cover. I won't bet it because the Patriots, they might. I can't do it. I can't justify it. Give me Bills to win, Bills to cover. I don't feel good enough about the spread to take it. Honestly, I don't feel good enough about the Bills to cover an 8.5 point spread. I think Patriots could, but I also don't feel good enough to bet on it either. I'm just gonna not bet this game. Sorry, I don't have too much to say about a Bills game, but it just is what it is. And this last game, Monday Night Football, I'll have a little bit to say on. The Chiefs versus the Jaguars. Now, crazy enough, the Jaguars are coming into this game as, even though they're coming in as underdogs, they are currently 2-2, or are they 3-1? Hold on, let me try to remember, because they beat, no, they didn't play the Dolphins week 1. Who the fuck did they play week 1? Did they play the Titans? No. Fuck, who did the Jaguars play? I'm sorry, I need to look this up. I'm sorry, I have to... Jaguars. Sorry, being unprofessional. Who did they play week 1? I'm blanking. The Panthers. Yeah, of course, the Panthers. They played the Panthers week 1. They beat them. They lost to the Bengals. They beat the Texans. And they beat the, injured 49ers, but they beat the 49ers nonetheless, which I think is like the first time they've done so in a long time. The Chiefs might be back. The way that they played against the Ravens, they got Xavier Worthy back after that Travis Kelce team kill from, what was it, week 1? Yeah, Worthy's back, and now that Mahomes has a receiver to actually throw to, he was looking a little Mahomey out there. They put belt to ass against the Ravens. Jaguars have not really gotten a bunch of impressive wins. They've kind of only beaten shit teams. Kind of a fraudulent 3-1 record. They lost to Jake Browning Bengals. I will take the Chiefs to win, Chiefs to cover. I don't feel good enough about the Chiefs quite yet to take the spread, because the Jaguars kind of have a sneaky good offense and a sneaky good defense, but if the Chiefs truly are back, I'm not going to be betting against them. Give me the Chiefs to win, Chiefs to cover. Won't be betting this game. I believe that is all of my bets for this week. Let me do one quick sweep. We got Lions, Colts, Cowboys, Giants, Buccaneers, Chargers. Yeah, that's good. That's all we need. All right. That'll do it for my Week 5 NFL prediction. Sorry, that one was a little bit rambly. I'm still trying to get like a format down for this thing. Hopefully I get this video edited and put up before I have to leave for work before this Thursday night game, so you can tail my money bags Manta parlay. It's gonna hit. I know it will. And I'm gonna, throw a fucking feast for myself if it does. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a like. Let me know down in the comments who you're gonna win, what your picks are. If there are any good betting props that you want to, see me talk about, if you want me to cover more parlays than just the Rams. If you're tailing any of my picks, let me know all of your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel for more NFL content. These videos have been doing way better than I thought they would, and I super appreciate all the love and support. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Neon Manta, and you'll see me next time.